All right, patrons, we're going to roll right into this. For you guys that are new, welcome to our crafting videos. I haven't done one yet because things have been wild. I haven't had shit unlocked, and I wanted to see where some of this new craft stuff went. We have an okay idea now. I can get through some of this stuff with you guys. So this is how we do them for those that are new. The Patreons and memberships, down and dirty, no crazy editing. It lets me do these weekly without having to wait on somebody else, and just kind of hammer through them and be a little bit more direct with you guys. Booze generator, if you have it, just craft and save. We've already seen moonshine go up crazy fast. I don't remember it doing this fast in previous wipes. Already up at 200,000 with only 2 weeks into the wipe, and normally that's right around like 170 to 180 if I remember correctly from last wipe. Anyways, it's pretty steady climb. It's not some kind of weird spiky thing. So hold on to it. We may see moonshine go quick. So if you can race to it and get crafting, I would suggest that. Moonshine looks like she might be a good money maker here in the near future. Intelligence Center, all I can craft now myself is flash drives, and the price is continually falling. When my first batch I crafted, they were like 70K or something like that. And we've already seen them come steadily down, pushing into like 50, 35K. The break-even point for market prices is 28,000. Once they hit 28,000, they're not going to make you any money anymore. So just keep that in mind on the thumb drives. Laboratory. So I have the magazine case up top here. Two things to keep in mind. Fuel is at zero cost because you're burning your blue fuels, right? Like, so if I go look at my hideout here, you'll see I'm buying blue fuel containers and burning them. That's only going to last for probably another week. I usually switch. I was sitting here waiting for it to load, and it was loaded. I was just off in space. What the hell? Where is my hideout? I can't find it. Boy, this is awkward. There we go. Generator. I'm burning blue fuels. I've gotten these out of quests and stuff. I'll slap more blues in here once I get a chance, but I'm using those to craft mag cases, which then I sell on the flea market to help bump up my flea market rating. We've seen these also coming down pretty steadily in price, and they will continue to get cheaper and cheaper. They will probably stop being worthwhile somewhere around 200 and I think it's like 210K is where you really kind of get into this area where your total profit really starts to eke. You're going to break even down to like what they sell for. What is mechanic, or what do they pay for? 148,000 is what they pay for on the flea. So 148,000, even if you're vendoring them, you're still making about 50K, but the actual profit for the overnight craft ends up kind of not being worthwhile. Plus we'll see nuts and bolts get more expensive. That's the other thing I want to mention is bolts. These things are crazy spiking right now. You'll see them push 30K at night and then come back down in the day. When you see them, just snatch up as many as you can for like 14, 15K. Even if you're buying 10 or 15 of them, you're going to use them up through your other crafts and through your hideout. So try to get them at 14K or less. Nuts are still pretty cheap, and they will be for a while. There's a big inflection point with nuts, and it has to do with this craft right here. Until people get to this and really start cranking this craft out and burning up these nuts, that's where you see a lot of that happen. And I'm not quite sure why it happens. I've never been able to explain it really well, because the mag case does use them, but it doesn't use as many more. And maybe it's the fact that it uses 25% more, and that's just enough to tip it over. I don't know what it is, but that's the point. To be honest with you, that's the point when people switch from mag cases to grenade cases. That's when you see nuts take off for pricing. Other than that, fleece has been great. Buy your 4 beanies you can buy from Ragman and just craft them into fleece. And even though we've been seeing it get cheaper and cheaper, it's not going to be like previous wipes where it goes down to like 10K. At least I don't think so, because of some of the barters and crafts they've introduced, which they don't even really have them listed on the wiki yet, which is wild. But there are several crafts and barters that use fleece now that weren't in before that are going to be hugely impactful on the price of this and keep it floating. So keep doing this. I think even at 15,000, this makes sense. You're talking about 13K an hour, but even down at 15,000 is cheap, but still selling them for like 30, 40K, especially at night. It's been a great craft. Shampoo, an alternate for you. We're kind of getting into that kind of tippy tappy area. I don't do this. I do toilet paper. I just buy it and craft it for that cycle. I'm not really super worried about money, but I have been able to sell toilet paper at like 8K pretty consistently. And that's not going to stay forever. Eventually it downs to the vendor price, which is 5,500. So as long as you're getting your paper at 11,000, you're not technically losing money. You're breaking even, but you're still cycling that craft. Interesting craft. I don't know what unlocks this yet. Is the Gazelle. This is a potential replacement over an overnight craft. It just depends on how well Gazelles maintain their value. Right now, they're expensive because people need them for tasks. They don't have them unlocked, so we'll just have to wait and see where this goes with. Because this isn't the plates. This is just the plate carrier. Because you can't sell the plates, the level 5 plates in here. So this is just people selling the plate carrier. 0 out of 4 plates in here. So you can pull the plates that when this crafts, I'm assuming it comes with the plates because that's just how the game sees information. It's probably going to give you the plates inside this thing because of how it spawns them, quote unquote. Not 100% sure, but I think it will. So you can pull the 5 plates out and then sell this vest for 400 or 500K empty. This is a potential good replacement overnight craft. WD-40 can be okay. This can spike quite a bit. Puppy wants to come say hi for everybody. Here's the puppy. Say hi to the puppy, everybody. She's being kind of naughty today, so she's up here with me. These can be pretty good. Push 20, 25K if you can. We'll put 20K in here, and you can see it'll bump this price up a little bit. Not a ton, but those are your alternate crafts. Keep an eye on Cordura. They did change this craft. It used to be 4 slings, right? Well, it's only 2 slings now, but instead of the slings being 2,000, they're 6,000. So the craft is technically 13,000 now versus like 8 or 9 is what it was before, but you still get the Cordura. We'll just have to see where this goes. I don't think it's going to have a huge impact, but it's there. And then as I get more of these unlocked, I'll let you guys know. I don't know what's going to happen here. Armored rigs are I don't want to say they're useless, but they're not great right now because of how they work with the new armor system and hitboxes. Excuse me. And then grenade cases are your next replacement. It is a really long craft. Again, I'll put 4,000 in here because that's kind of what these metal tanks are actually worth, the empty ones. But you put 4,000 in here, you get your metal parts, shoot for 13,000 on your metal parts, and then you can vendor this thing to Therapist for 321, which gets out all these fees. So you make like 170,000 in profit. It just takes 15 hours. I don't like doing this until it gets down into like that 12-hour range, so that it's doing it when I'm not logged in. For you, 15 hours might be fine. So just keep that in mind. Med Station. Propital is a king craft again. Thank goodness we can use pain pills. Some people like it, some people don't. Either way, you can use your golden stars. I got 6,000 in here. Use your 1 out of 10. Craft them into Propitals. Make yourself a fortune with the Propital craft. Now, even if you just straight buy this stuff, like just straight buy everything, you're still making decent money. So it's still a good craft, even if you're using 10 out of 10 golden stars. So you're looking for something, you're still talking 15K an hour. But for me, I'm going to look at using golden stars again here pretty soon. Mules, once you get to Crisis, sure, you can craft mules. I won't talk about a lot of that because there's not a lot of people that have Crisis. If you have it, you've probably got this figured out anyways. Grizzlies, tough craft because they're big. You can make okay money with it, but they're a 2x2, and you've got to wait a long time. It's usually in the evening. You'll see these things start to push 40K again. Otherwise, you're only going to be getting about 35. And I'll plug that in here, and you can see it lowers the value. But this is using used up ALU splints, getting your cats off of Peacekeeper and meds at 9,000. I just left 9,000 in here. You can get them cheaper. If you've got a bunch of extra money, fill up a scav case full of meds, and it's going to pay its dividends in the long run with crafting. Recycling IFAX to make AFAX. Good craft. Not the best, but it's a good one. I like this craft a lot. I like doing this because you see these used up IFAX a lot. You can get out of raid with them. You can just fill up empty spots in your bag, and they end up being worth halfway decent amount of money for the craft itself. Pile of meds is in here simply because when I craft, I do it with the intent of not selling these till I get to 12.5. So here's the prices right now. If you sell them at 12.5, you're going to be making about 17K an hour. Sit on them longer, you make more money. The recycle craft with the Calic Bees, you take your 1 out of 3, you turn it into a 3 out of 3, you sell it, and assuming you have them unlocked, you're going to be able to pay for more than one doing this sale. You're making you make a couple thousand profit doing this, paying for a new one that's not found in raid and pushing stuff through the flea. After that, I've been doing a lot of IFAX, but it's going to start settling down now. I'm not going to do them as much because it just doesn't make as much money. It's just an easy craft. And then the rest of this stuff is kind of peanuts and pennies for the long craft. Defibs, it always is defibs. Try to get your capacitors under 9K. Don't buy them at night. If you wait till the end of the day, these things are going to be 15, 20K. It's just going to eat into your profits, make you actually lose money. Wires are what they are. Get them where you can. If you're getting them at 17K, great, but less, obviously better. Magnets, 16 to 20K. They do get more expensive at night. So again, buy this stuff earlier in the day before it gets expensive, and you're going to do much better off. And then just sell your defibs for 150K. They do have to sit sometimes, but people are buying them at 150K. It's not like a not happening deal. They're definitely doing it. And I've sold them at that. So just keep that in mind. I have to keep an eye on the puppy. That's why I keep looking behind me here, sniffing around, making sure she doesn't go pee or something. Nutrition unit. Kind of a crazy thing here. So all of these top 4 crafts are contingent on the fact that you're drinking your water bottles and you're using 1 out of 60s or 5 out of 60s or whatever. If you crank these things, all tank if you change this to 12,500. So use your water bottles however you see fit. I like this one because it's easy. The Keck tapes have finally gotten cheap enough to where you can do it. And these EWRs you can actually sell for quite a bit more than 19K. They'll push like 24K at night, 22K sometimes. So we'll put 22 in here, and you can see it bumps this price up a little bit. But again, your water bottles. Now, if I put the price of the water bottle in here, because you're buying it from Therapist and you're using full ones, you can see how it changes everything. All of these things fall away, and it's not as good. Slickers have been pretty good craft. People are using these a lot because the scav vest task, which one? The shotgun one. I can't remember which one it is. Where you got to wear a vest is early. It's way earlier than it used to be. You used to not get into this until you were like your late 20s or 30s, and now you're like 15 and you're trying to do it. So Slickers have been staying up. Decent craft. Hot rods overnight. Just watch your price. I think we've already missed the bus on the really good prices. I was selling 18, 20K, but the steady decline here tells me we're pretty much done. But you can still get 14K for big stacks. Pretty easy, maybe even more. And it's just an overnight craft. Run this overnight and then sell in the morning and collect your earnings and your scav or your flea market reputation. Condensed milk. Excuse me. Let me get a sip here. Condensed milk. This craft is just an ongoing vendor thing. It's not meant to make money. It's meant to cycle and raise your trader rating. If you want to sell on a flea market, you can, but just cycle those crafts in the nutrition unit. This is good until about sugar gets to 25K is usually when you'll see it fall off. It props up milk because more people are buying milk for this craft or for some of the barters. I'm doing this. This is what I'm doing. I'm cycling condensed milk and Slickers most of the time. Sometimes I'll sneak in an emergency water ration here and there, but that's just what I've been doing. After that, there's not much. If you're sitting on your chocolates, you can sit on your chocolates or buy a bunch now and then wait for sugar to go to like 45K. And then it kind of makes sense, but it takes up a bunch of space in your inventory. I don't like doing this anymore. It's a pain. It's a pain in the neck. I just don't worry about it. So that's the nutrition unit. Water collector, just let her run. I buy and sell these things because it's great for, even though I'm buying them to craft, I sell the Found and Raid ones because it's a good way to raise flea rep. Now the workbench, lots and lots and lots and lots of options here. So shoot for power cords under 37K. If you see them, if you see 10 of them, buy them up. Get as many of them as you can because you're going to make money with these. Wires have been consistently hitting over 19K even the last couple of nights, pushing 20, 22 sometimes. So just keep that in mind. Wires is an easy craft. Sell them in big stacks of like 30 or 40 or whatever you got, and you're going to make decent money doing it. Sammy, quick. Nixers. Two caveats to this. One, you got to barter for your cameras. Don't spend a bunch of money on the cameras. Obviously, you're not buying them at the flea market rate. You're doing the barter. I forget what you get them from Skier. I don't know why it's not telling me. It should tell me right here what you can buy them from Skier, and I can't see it, which is weird. You have to have Informs Mean Arms to unlock it, obviously, but the barter is available right away for the camera. It's about 40K. It's electronic components and a battery, so it can be even less than that. And then just craft and sell your Nixers. But again, the other caveat here is that it's a 2-hour craft, so it takes forever. So it's not great for leveling your crafting skill if that's what you're after. Another huge craft is once you get Tarkov Shooter Part 3 is the APM ammo. They made a big change here. It only takes SPP now. You don't have to have SP6. This was gate kept by SP6. It's not there anymore. So now with SPP, you can get it at Mechanic Loyalty level 1. Or I'm sorry, you can buy it. Where do you buy it from? Let me go look at that real quick. I know you can buy it. Is it available on the flea is a question that I have. Give me 2 seconds here, guys. I will find out. SPP is on proper loyalty level 4. Huh. Man, why did I think you could buy this? Anyways, you can do the barter. The barter will net you right here. Maybe this is what I was thinking of. This is going to net you... you can do 50 of them, so you don't need to do 50 of them, but you're doing 2 blue tapes, so we'll say 25K. It's at 8, so you're 3,000 around here. So maybe that doesn't make a lot of sense. At 3,000 around, this probably blows it out of the water. See, I guess you can still make money doing it. PS ammo is not this expensive. You can buy it for 262 once you get it unlocked, which is where we're going to talk about it. I guess if you're finding SPP, keep it, because it only vendors for 246 a round, but it's really valuable here. As you can see, it's pretty good for this SPP or this APM craft at 3,000 a round. Now, it's not a great per hour craft, right? You're talking 6 hours to craft, but an overnight craft, 240K per. This is really good for leveling up your flea market rating and just getting some good cash overnight. Now, your circuit board cracks are pretty good, as always. Again, DVDs are wild because they go all over the place. If you're getting them cheap, like you can, like let's just plug 18K in there as an aim point. I think that's what I'm going to hold in my head. If you're seeing them for 18K, you can see how quickly this changes the price on here. And gas analyzers are 15K, obviously. I wonder if they get much cheaper than that. I don't think they do. Maybe 14.5 might be a good point to set for here. But you're pushing these crafts over 30K an hour, which this early in the wipe is good. And by the way, I do have my stuff plugged into here. I'm 8 crafting, 6 hideout management. Hideout management is bugged. It's not leveling like it should. You're supposed to be getting points for modules and you're not. I don't know if BSG is going to find a way to rectify that later for all of us that upgraded our hideouts. I don't know. Just so you know, that's why hideout management's leveling slower. Make sure I didn't skip over anything when I'm changing stuff here. The Vogs, cool craft. I kind of like this other than it's long because it's an easy craft and the products are easy to sell. You can sell them in big stacks and they almost always sell for like 18, 20K. People just snatch them up. So if you're looking for a more total profit craft than you are an hourly profit, the Vogs are a good place to look. Now, 2 other crafts that I've leaned really heavily on are the L191 and the SOST. Up until now, I'm going to probably start doing that APM craft. But at workbench level 2, these crafts make a shitload of money. They're great overnight crafts, 95 and 75K respectively. And that's at 900 a round, which you can definitely sell more than that. We'll see on the weekends. If it bumps back up, I'm also this is good for you guys to remember if you want to sit on your SOST. I'm going to do a video about this and talk about SOST and 855 because SOST is a better round than 855 and it's more readily available for a lot of people because of the craft. The craft is super cheap. It only costs like 50K to craft 150 rounds, which means your total cost is like 340, 330 rubles a round. That's super cheap. So, way cheaper than 855 and it's a better round. So keep that in mind. You might want to save this. That round might spike after I do that video. L191, I think this is just held back by people not having the P90 or not really seeing how good it is yet. But you're still able to get, like I said, 900 a round, and it's a really cheap craft. It's what I was leaning on until recently. I'm probably going to switch up, but it's there for you guys. And then the pliers craft. This is just a good, solid craft. Buy your pliers. If you can get them for 12K or less, a lot of times you'll see them under 10K. Snatch them up and just have them sitting there, and whenever you can't figure out what to craft, do one of these real quick and then come back to it. Red gunpowder is nice because you can just sell it to therapists. You just vendor it. That's all you got to do. You can sell it on the flea and do okay. It doesn't burn a ton of money on the fee, but the vendor to therapist is pretty easy, and especially why these 2 components are cheap and matches as well. So especially if you're getting matches under 11K, it just adds just that little bit more, and it's a relatively fast craft. So other than that, there's not a lot else out there. The 50 BMG, I don't know if this is going to get more valuable. It tanked in price, and yes, you see these big spikes, but I don't know if it really holds those. So if you're like talking 1,500, you can really start pushing some of this profit up on these, but just keep an eye on it. It might be a craft that's worthwhile. I don't know. FMJ's been all over the place. I don't know if it's because M80 is so much more readily available. I figured it was going to hold its price better, but it hasn't. I was expecting to see this at like 1,100, but even at 850, you're seeing some decent prices. Again, it's what you want to do and what you have component wise. But that is pretty much everything for now. We'll get into some more of these crafts later as the hideout progresses. But I'll get this uploaded. Appreciate you guys as always. Thank you for your support. Hope this is helpful. As always, don't hesitate to ask questions on the Discord. I'm always around for that. Thanks, guys. We'll see you around.